I wish I never heard of Lisa Frank, and I wish Lisa Frank never heard of me. Hi, unicorns! Welcome back to the Tassel Fairy channel. My name is Amina, and I'm the Tassel Fairy. I love saying that so much, so I'm gonna say it for as long as I want. Um, not that you asked, but whatever. So if you don't know, there's a docu-series out about Lisa Frank, and I am in that docu-series. It's on Amazon Prime, and I'm on episode 4. I am talking about my experience with the brand and just with Lisa Frank. So I did tell everyone I was going to be on TV, but that's about as far as I've gone. I haven't really talked about anything. So I thought it would be a really great time to talk about my experience filming the docuseries, Cloudland. To answer some of your questions, I've been getting a lot of questions about Cloudland and Lisa Frank and like what I'm up to and what's going on with me. And so I thought it would be a great time to talk about some of that stuff. So I guess let's start with why I'm in that docu-series to begin with. So in 2017, I decided to redecorate and completely transform my small 750 square feet studio apartment. I named it Cloudland. I poured my heart and soul into it, and I turned it into me and my wife's favorite place. I did a lot of fun DIYs, and making Cloudland and then sharing the entire process completely changed the trajectory of my career. It started going viral, and lots of people wrote about it. I was featured in magazines. It was actually made it to the cover of a few magazines. My platform grew. I began to get all of these amazing sponsorships and brand deals and opportunities to work with brands that before that weren't really giving me the time of day. It was amazing. So that happened in 2017. In 2018, Lisa Frank started following me on Instagram, would interact with me on a regular basis. They would always say nice things. I just thought, hey, cool, Lisa Frank is a fan. I love this. Fast forward to 2019. I go to pay my rent late, and my manager of the apartment building where I made Cloudland was like, we can't accept your rent, and this is coming from the top. And I believe he meant it's coming from the owners of the building, which was so weird and mysterious, and no one would give me any answers. They just wouldn't accept my rent. They basically said I had to move out by October. This was in 2019. It made no sense, but hey, I was like, okay, I mean, I don't own this place. I don't know. It was terrifying and confusing and stressful because like I was kind of building my whole career around Cloudland. Well, while I am panicking and selling things, like I sold all of my clothes, while I'm panicking and trying to figure out what I'm going to do next, I find out that Lisa Frank has partnered with hotels.com, and they are doing a pop-up hotel kind of thing in the adjacent apartment building from mine. It was basically like across the street. And this apartment building is owned and managed by the same people who own and manage my apartment building. And the dates, like I said, the date that I had to be out mysteriously coincided with the date that the pop-up was going to be. And the Lisa Frank Hotel suite was so eerily similar to Cloudland that people actually thought that I designed it. And, you know, there were a lot of details that were extremely similar. And the kitchen, in my opinion, was identical to my kitchen. And it was just all very surreal and strange. I had no idea why I had to leave. I had no idea what was going on. I was only left to draw the conclusion that for some reason, I had to leave because of the Lisa Frank hotel pop-up. Eventually, I had to leave Cloudland in 2019, just a couple of months after the hotel pop-up opened to the public. I made Cloudland out of like a deep need of like self-preservation. I didn't have any money and I wasn't getting the kind of work that some of the people who had like less experience, less followers, or whatever was getting. So I was like, I need to figure out a way to make an opportunity for myself. And at the same time, like pull myself out of this like depression that I'm in. So I didn't really have any money. But I made Cloudland happen anyway. I pitched to several brands. A lot of people said no. You know, some people were like, well, we can't really give you money, but here's some like flowers or here's some supplies. Okay, it was like a wild experience. It took like, we did it in like 3 to 6 months. It became a phenomenon, you know, because first of all, it wasn't something that everybody was doing. A lot of people weren't really doing like colorful living spaces like that. It wasn't super popular. In fact, like, you know, for as many people that said it was cool and that wrote about it and that gave it a lot of like love, there were a lot of people who said that, you know, it looks like someplace a kid should live and not in a nice way. You know, there are just a lot of haters out there because when you do something first or early, people always talk shiitake about it, you know? That's just how it is. And so that's kind of what it was like for me with Cloudland. And it kept blowing up and more people started to learn about me and about like, you know, my love of color. And it was really magical. And so I cover all this in the docu-series, but one thing that I don't think I really got through is that Cloudland had literally nothing to do with Lisa Frank. Like nothing. I wasn't inspired by Lisa Frank when I was making Cloudland. Let me just clear that up. I was a fan of Lisa Frank as a child. I was born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s and the aughts and the 2000s. And like, as a little kid, I was a fan of Lisa Frank and I had the stickers and I had all that stuff. But Cloudland had nothing to do with that. It was my own ideas, my own love for the colors I had been working with the whole time. If you look back in my career, with tassels and everything that I was doing with my brand Studio Mucci and all the content that I had shared prior and how I dressed and my hair, Cloudland was just an expression of all of that. Now, I have no problem with talking about things that inspired me. As an artist, I am inspired by so many other artists and brands and things that I experienced, especially in my childhood. But when I made Cloudland, Lisa Frank wasn't really a reference. You know who was a reference? Care Bears was a reference. Sanrio, Hello Kitty, My Little Pony was a reference. And then I had recently really gotten into Tokidoki. That was a reference. I was like collecting unicornos and stuff, you know? Those were the things I was into at the time. I actually featured in Cloudland all of those brands and characters and beloved childhood things that I mentioned, specifically like in my kitchen. I just wanted it to feel like you were floating on a cloud inside of a rainbow, you know? Just that like lightness of like rainbow and clouds and joy. And also spring, which is like my favorite time of year. Those were the core influences. And so when people are like, you copied Lisa Frank to make your apartment, so she can't copy, whatever, the nonsense that I've heard, I've had to hear this for like 5 years whenever it gets talked about, like, you know, whenever someone does one of those like podcasts or whatever, talking about all of the things of Lisa Frank, sometimes they include me. And then I have to hear people like trying to gaslight me and tell me who I was inspired by. And that's not really true. The truth is, I actually hadn't thought about Lisa Frank until she started following me on social media. That is actually when I fell back in love with the brand. So yeah, I wasn't thinking about Lisa Frank. Honestly, I am so tired of saying that woman's name. Like, this video and this whole docu-series is gonna be like it's a great way to close the door. This is gonna be the last time I say Lisa Frank. I wish I never heard of Lisa Frank, and I wish Lisa Frank never heard of me. Like, that's the honest truth. Because before Lisa Frank started following my Instagram account and interacting with me, my life was in a very different place and it was just going up. The thing about Cloudland, because it was written about so much and got so much press, it brought in a lot of opportunity for me. And it was just a lot to keep up with. And at the time that Cloudland was just blowing up, I've talked about this before, I had just found out that I was autistic and I was like really not able to keep up with the demand of what Cloudland had brought into my life. I had to actually like stop working. I said no to a bunch of opportunities. And it was scary because, this thing is kind of fleeting. If you've ever gone viral, you know that you need to try to make the most of that opportunity and really like find your niche or whatever it is that you like enjoy doing and keep doing it so that people can really understand you and understand like what you bring to the table. I was trying to do that. I had no idea that I was autistic, and it really, really, really took a toll on me. And so I had to actually like stop working in the middle of like everything going well for me. If I had been able to keep going, I think I would have been able to create more financial stability for myself. I get worked up when I talk about this. Yeah, and then the other thing is like, if you're gonna do something like a hotel pop-up thing in LA, there are so many places that would be like probably nicer and make more sense than in the little development that I lived in. It just was like the coincidence. I guess it just freaked me out, the idea that someone found out where I lived, so that they could like pull this kind of crap. But again, allegedly, because I don't actually know, because how can I possibly know? It's not like someone sent me a letter and said, yes, this is what happened. I'm here on the outside trying to figure it all out. If that pop-up happened and I never lost my home, it wouldn't have been such a devastating blow to me, my mental health, or my career. To have my whole career have the way that most people know about me to be my apartment, and then for it to just disappear, and for me to have to start over from scratch in that state, and to scramble to move, it was just such a blow. I tried to take a break and then everything was kind of taken away from me. I went from having so much opportunity and feeling like the sky is the limit to just like nothing. What felt like nothing. I sold my clothes, I sold furniture. I had to do a lot in order to be able to like start over. And it was really hard. I was extremely depressed. I didn't go outside for months. Like, I didn't even leave my apartment for months. It took us forever to even unpack. And I guess a lot of people were asking me, like, why don't you just make Cloudland in your new place? You did it once, you could do it again. I just couldn't. I tried a few times, but I didn't have it in me. It was really hard for me to like find my footing again as an artist, as a person, you know? I was really happy with the docu-series. I think it really captured my rainbow spirit and what I'm really about. And honestly, that's really the best I could possibly hope for. The only thing I guess I wish is it talked a little bit about like where I'm from, or, you know, like how I got started. Like I didn't just like slide down a rainbow, you know. Prior to making Cloudland, I had been like building my career and my brand for like 6 years. So in case you don't know, I am from LA, born and raised in Southern California. Yeah. So the docu-series came at a time when I was really struggling. My life and my world was shrinking and becoming much smaller, and to a scary place. You know, the producers reached out to me and, you know, just asked if I would like want to participate and to hear my story, and if I wanted to share my story. And I just had like it was a very cathartic and healing experience to be a part of this docu-series. Kind of like a little bit of a ray of sunshine for me, because talking about it helped me kind of like reclaim my voice. So it's 2024, it's the holiday season, and my wife and I have moved into a new space, and we love this place, and I cannot wait to make Cloudland happen here. One of the things I used to love to do in Cloudland was like go all out on like Christmas decorations and Christmas trees, but I did not have one single Christmas tree in my old place. So this is the first time in like 5 years that I have been able to afford a Christmas tree and decorate it, and we busted out all of our ornaments and stuff, and it's just really magical. This feels like such a magical time. I feel ready to do Cloudland again. And so I cannot wait to share. I have so many ideas and plans, and I cannot wait to share everything with you. You're gonna be seeing a lot of me because I have to pay for this new apartment. So prepare yourself. You're gonna get sick of me. I'm gonna be around. And then also, I have a book coming out. I was able to write a children's book with Scholastic. It's called A Rainbow in Your Cloud. And it's a book about like self-acceptance, about finding joy in who you are and all the little things that make you who you are. And I'm really excited about it. It's illustrated by L. Pierre, a brilliant artist, and it's with Scholastic. And it's like, you know, Scholastic book fair. It's like a dream come true. It's a dream come true. So that's coming out March 2025, and I cannot wait for you to see it. So I hope that's the beginning of me doing many more things like that, because I had so much fun. I learned a lot from the process, but it was really fun and really exciting. And then I've also just really been like exploring my own art and aesthetic. I'm looking forward to sharing all of that with you. I've been so like afraid to share my art, and now I feel like I'm just like opening up again, and I want to share everything, and I'm really excited about it. And I just think the future's looking bright, and I feel like myself again. I came through something really hard that I didn't think I was going to survive, and I want to share my journey with you as I rebuild my life and my career and myself and my confidence. And maybe if you've been through something, we can do it together, because yeah, I think that would be really magical. I just want to say a special thank you to everybody who has supported me, who bought stuff from my store, for watching my videos, for sticking around. There are still so many of you who are just so supportive and so kind and loyal, and like my ride or dies. I love y'all. I appreciate you so much. everybody who was like here with me in the yarn braid tutorial times, which by the way, I'm gonna go back to yarn braids. Like it's a project, but I am ready for that because I miss them. Thank you so much for being here. If you stuck it out to the end, you're the best. Thank you so much. I love you. Have a magical day.